go on a date to that exact place and don't take you.
It
No.
was for our anniversary.
It was multiple times.
Okay. Welcome back, everyone, to season 2 of Now What? Not Another 20-somethings podcast. I'm your host, Natalie Valdez, and joining me are your other two co-hosts, Alexa Hinton and Nina Naval. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, or maybe who are discovering our podcast and finished season 1 or hopping on for season 2, we do what we like to call our Now What moments of the week. Those moments of the week where we either do something really good, we achieve something like a promotion, or something really bad happens, and you're kind of like, now what? So, to start us off, why don't you tell us of your Now What moment of the week?
First of all, listener, so you have context, we were supposed to film this episode like 3 weeks ago, and a lot has happened.
It's too much.
A lot.
Too much. I'm gonna try and keep it more on the lighter scale of things. My now what of the week is, as you know, I own a bookstore, and we've been trying to get into events for the year. What that means for us right now is collaborating with the different companies, different institutions, and in November, we are gonna have a fantasy game night in collaboration with the Jersey City Free Public Library. And I had a meeting for that. And I was told that it's probably gonna be one of the biggest events of the season.
Oh my God!
This is like my first kind of like milestone event. Like, this is the event for the Pouring Pages for the year, I think. So I have like 6 months to plan this event. And no pressure whatsoever.
Well, it's a good thing that one of your 7 jobs is being an event planner.
Yes, it is. Also, my 7th job is expanding to be more full-time. So, fun! We're still at 7, but 7 has gotten bigger. 7 has now eaten 9. Alexa, what about you? What is your now what?
Yeah, it's been a long couple weeks. So I unfortunately was hospitalized for a little bit a couple of weeks ago. And I think the funniest thing to me about this was that, okay, for context, a couple of years ago, I spent like a month or a little over a month in the hospital. They didn't tell me. I just kind of got better and then they let me out. But I didn't realize how much I like viscerally hated hospitals until I was like laying there and like incapacitated to the point where like I couldn't leave. And then I was like, oh my fucking God, if I have to smell this air for one more second, I'm gonna lose it. And that's like, it's so interesting because I feel like it's one of the first times that I've like developed a phobia in adulthood, you know? Like, it's not some weird thing that I've been scared of since I was a kid. It's like, oh no, I just had like a kind of shit experience, and now I'm having another kind of shit experience. And hospitals are good. Long story short, hospitals are good, but I don't like them. And that's okay. Yeah, that's my know what. Natalie, what about you?
I am being a very good actor, and I submitted for representation.
Woo!
Yay! Which, I hope pans out, but at the same time, y'all know how I feel about being told what to do. So we're gonna see how well that goes. But I was looking at over all of my acting stuff, like my reel and my headshots and like my voiceover reel, and I was listening to my voiceover reel, and I was like, wow, I kind of really enjoy doing that. Shocker. The girl who runs a podcast likes doing voiceover work. Crazy jump right there. And so I'm hoping to lean back into that. And then I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks, and I love audiobooks and those who narrate them. However, I feel like I could do a better man voice sometimes than what I'm currently listening to.
Can we have a sample?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, wait, let me bring up my smut book. I've got my
That you
emotional
just had right next to you.
I have my emotional support Kindle here. It's like one of those classic lines where it's like,
Okay.
I'm just going to paraphrase at this point because I can't find it, but it was like, I prefer to use knives because they're so much more personal. If you're going to shoot someone, or sorry, no, it was, if you're going to kill someone, why would you make it so quick with a gun? And that's why I use knives. And I was like, okay, relax.
That's why I use
All right.
knives.
I use knives.
He gave you a whole thesis.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, if you're going to kill someone, make it personal. Like, okay,
Alrighty.
got it. All right, bud.
Okay. So you can do the man voice, but only for smut.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay.
Am I going to read the man voice of like a historical
'Cause that's the
romance
only time
novel?
you're doing
No, I can't do a transatlantic accent.
Like, there's no experience that I want more than to clip my freaking Kindle up and be under the blankets.
Yeah. Oh
Like,
my
that
God,
just
that
sounds
sounds like heaven.
That's, yeah, like that's what it's gonna be when we all turn into like those Wall-E people. It's not gonna be screens of like, it's gonna be screens of books. Like,
So Sunny said I can't bring my Kindle to the gym anymore and go on the treadmill because he said it's just sad.
No, it's not.
no, it's not.
That's what I
motivating.
said. But yeah, so I've become a good actor, kind of, again. And I'm looking forward to jumping back into that world.
Yeah.
With that, let's get into today's
Dun, dun, dun,
topic.
dun.
So, you're insecure. Yeah, so insecurities. Those are fun things to talk about. We are all 24, and I think I can confidently say that we all have our own versions of insecurities, and that can go both physically and mentally, but let's start with the physical. I'm I'm asking because I saw Lexi's list in our little podcast notes, and I thought half of the things she listed were absolutely ridiculous because there's things that I just have never noticed or never known that that's how she felt. And so I'm curious to see like what I say versus how you view me, or how I view
Yeah.
myself versus how Nina, etc. So who would like to go first?
You can go first.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
You
It's your
started.
idea.
You do it. No.
Okay, so there's like the insecurities I've had since I was a kid, and then there's like insecurities I've started gaining as an adult. But probably like the main one is my teeth. Like, I do not have straight teeth. I have like the biggest overbite in the world. I have the definition of that trend that was going viral like 6 months ago of having American Girl doll teeth. That's me. They modeled it after me. And so I've always been insecure about like my smile and everything. And I couldn't get braces as a child. It wasn't an option for me. And so now in my adult life with adult money, I've kind of thought about getting braces, but at the same time, in the world of like veneers and straight teeth, I kind of like the fact that my teeth have more character than the average person. But I don't know, I go back and forth. Like someone asked me if I was going to get braces before I got married, so I looked prettier in my photos.
Who?
And I know they
give me a name.
No, see, like I knew they meant it in a kind way. Like, are you actually?
No,
I don't know how
think
you can mean
you
that
don't need
in
to
a kind
justify
there's no-
people's poor behavior towards you.
Like,
that kind of like made me more hypervigilant than I had been before on my teeth. And there's been instances like that, but that's probably my biggest insecurity. My next would be that I have a lazy eye, and that's like a real fun thing to notice about
I
yourself.
didn't even notice that about you.
yeah.
I do. I have a pretty severe lazy eye if you look closely. Not severe.
We
but...
have had acting classes together where we've had to look each other in the eye for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's my left one.
I never
He's just
noticed.
like, he's just a little guy. He doesn't like to see straight. Um, that, and then lastly, my arms. I am so insecure about my double jointed arms because, like, in class, I just remember growing up and raising my hand and people being like, why does your arm bend that way? Like, what's wrong with you? And me just being like, dude, I don't know.
Not
It's
the
just like
no no
that.
no yeah.
I mean, I can go on. I also hate the fact that I'm brunette. I don't think my natural hair color has ever looked good on me. Ever. And to this day,
Really?
I agree.
like those of you who have seen me on the podcast have only known me with dark brown hair, but I actually had dyed my hair back to its natural color in November for the first time since I was 12 years old. Previously, I had been like a caramel-ish blonde majority of my life. And I was like, okay, maybe I should just see how I feel about my natural hair color. I hate it. I undid 10 years worth of perfect balayage and getting the perfect blonde for my skin tone. For what? For what?
For the health, for the health of your hair, I
Nah, fuck it.
guess.
No, no.
Fuck
Mm-mm.
it.
I don't know what would you say is like the definition of insecurity to you?
Um, I have recently defined that as parts of my body or parts of myself that I want to hide on purpose. You know, not
Mhm.
something I'm subconsciously hiding or, don't even like realize that I don't uh showcase that facet of my personality or physicality. Um, but like I'm purposely hiding it. You know what I mean? Like I purposely didn't smile in photos for a really long time. I purposely very rarely do I ever like take a photo where I'm laying down because my lazy eye comes out like so full when I'm laying down, or like if I'm FaceTiming someone, I'm rarely laying down. Or if I'm taking a photo, like I always like have my head kind of tilted to offset the, little Finding Nemo-esque
Mhm.
part of my face. um, so like those are things that I purposely try to hide.
It is the thing that like you don't want people to see purposely. I don't know. I've had like a love-hate relationship. I have grown out of some of my insecurities, which I do appreciate, and I've developed new ones over time because you feel different, you look different. Um, when I was a kid, my biggest insecurity was that I had a double chin. I had like a stage, when you're going through or like about to go through puberty and like you kind of put on weight.
Mm-hmm.
Like even when I was going through puberty and I sort of like lost that weight again, the double chin stayed. And honestly, it's my great grandmother's chin. We all have it.
Blessed beyond belief.
Yeah, you're really like screw the rest of us over, Lexi.
Yeah. So like that's what I'm saying. Like you're over here being like I was insecure about my chin, and here I am thinking that's part of like one of the prettiest parts about you.
Like someone pointed it out to
Yeah.
me once when I was like really
Those
young
comments really stick
and
with
it
you.
just like stuck, you know? What about you, Nina? And thank you guys.
Do we have 2 hours?
Mm-hmm.
No.
A reel could come out of this. It's just gonna be me talking for 2 hours sped up with like credit trolling of all this bullet points that I'm about to give you. Okay, so I are we going in chronological order? Like I'm like, all right. I just like off the top of my head, like even just now, this strand of hair pisses me off because it's like a little bit straight here and then it's curly again, except it's curly up here too. So that's like my hair is something that I do get insecure about. Same thing with you, Natalie, where I have naturally dark hair. I think it washes me the fuck out. And everybody who knows me agrees that I am better as a ginger. It is also just suits me more. Like, you know how orange cats are just so chaotic. I am the orange cat. Um, so there's my hair. Now there's like acne, which I didn't really
Yeah.
have like in puberty and stuff, which It's just so great because now I have adult acne when I didn't have to deal with it growing up. So thanks for that. My dentist pointed out that my gums are a little bit too long, so I got insecure about my smile. And then my mom said I needed a nose job to be successful, so I don't like my nose. I think my eyes are too small for my face in conjunction with my nose and my mouth. My thighs are too big, my boobs are too small, and I could just like keep going. Really, my voice is too low.
I love your voice. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
But your voice is so
Yeah.
nice though. It's so like you guys have such nice dainty voices, and then you hear me.
I love
kind of
no. No. Yeah, see, also with the nose thing, okay? That's so funny because, again, I love your nose because your nose made me feel good about my nose because I think you're beautiful and we have similar noses. Like,
yeah, we do look similar, which is funny because, like, so Apple thinks we look
I know,
twins, apparently. And I think you're the most gorgeous person on the planet.
Thank you.
But I look in the mirror and I'm like, I cannot possibly, I don't know what Apple sees.
So Nina and I recently learned that we can unlock each other's phones with Face ID, which is funny because for the last like year and a half, Nina thought I didn't have a password on my phone, and I thought Nina didn't have a password on her phone because every time she was like, oh, can you grab my phone or like swipe up for something? It would just open. You know, it just opened. And so I was like, oh, she's brave. No password on her phone.
Yeah.
And we never mentioned it until we were at a bar and I like grabbed her phone thinking it was mine and swiped up and it wasn't like my usual background picture. And I went, Nina, why don't you have a password on your phone? And she looked at me and she was like, I do have a password on my phone. And she's like, why don't you have a password on your phone? I went, I do. And that's how we figured out
racially ambiguous.
That apparently we can unlock each other's phones. Apple, you probably should fix that.
It's the brown eyes and the eyebrows and the
all
lips,
it is.
and I think it's like, yeah.
But like, it's so funny. Like, I'm hearing Nina say she's insecure about all of these things, and here I am thinking that's some of the prettiest parts of her. And like,
yeah.
Okay, can we talk about the thigh thing? Okay, Nina and I probably have like similar experiences.
Yeah.
So growing up, I was as skinny could be.
Mm-hmm.
And both Nina and I probably relate. I grew up in Hispanic culture. Skinny is not something you want to be. Because like they just view that as like you're not well fed, you know, like you're not eating enough and things like that. It was always out of concern, but it was always pointed out. And, you know, growing up, it was, oh, you want to be super thick and like you want to like if you have a thigh gap, like that's gross.
But then there was also a part where if you have a thigh gap, it's beautiful.
Yes. And then of course that trend came once I no longer had a thigh gap, you know? And so I have always been insecure about like how I look in general because I'm tiny, I'm small, I'm skinny, but not like oh, I'm skinny, like you got it's like, dude, I look like a skeleton. I'm aware. I can't do anything about it, okay? And so my legs were always an insecurity because I had a thigh gap and my thighs are the same size as my calves. And then suddenly they weren't, but that was when that was no longer cool. So I think it's funny that you mentioned that.
It's from the ballet. You're in tights in front of a mirror and a leotard. I kept getting the note to like tuck in my hips. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I promise you, I am tucking in my hips. There's no way to tuck it in anymore. That is just flesh and meat, dude. Like,
oh my God. Can I tell you guys about a recent insecurity I have? And I've been trying to get rid of it. But okay, this is gonna sound so stupid, and I know like I should not look at TikTok like this, but someone pointed out like that they hated their ribs because they have a flared rib cage, which I have. I have a flared rib cage, meaning like my rib cage just sticks out no matter how much fat I have there or muscle. It's just going to stick out.
Yeah.
And I didn't know I had it until I saw that video, and I was like, oh, but that's what I look like. And then, everyone in the comments is like, ugh, I hate it too. I have that. Like, I can never hide my ribs and things like that. And so when I would see pictures of me like at the beach or in a bikini or in ballet photos, all I could see was
Ribs.
that my ribs were sticking out no matter what I did, And in ballet, one of the
You have to
structure
pull it
points
in.
in your posture is tucking in your ribs, which I know the average person is going to be like, huh? But the dancers out there know what I mean. And I got so insecure about it, and I'm still insecure about it. But I watched another TikTok video. This was years later of Abigail Barlow, who created the Bridgerton musical. And she was talking about how she's always been insecure about her flared ribs. But then she learned that it is actually a genetic thing similar to Lexi's chin. And it means that your ancestors were most likely singers or opera singers or swimmers or something that required a lot of air. And that like their rib cage just kind of expanded to provide the needs that their body needed for what they were doing. And I was like, oh, okay, so that's kind of cool. Like it means that somewhere down the line, the arts have always been a part of my family enough for me to have this, rib cage. And I thought that was kind of cool. Like similar to Lexi's chin, something that you learn to love about yourself. But with that being said, that brings me to the topic of trends in body image and how society changes their view on what they deem beautiful or the ideal body shape or body image about every 10 years. So
quicker with social media.
Yeah, now it's way quicker with social media. Did that affect you guys when you were younger? Because those of you listening were in our mid-20s, not late 20s. We are in our mid-20s.
Mid-20s, please.
But that means we are of the generation that grew up with beauty influencers for the first time and like lifestyle influencers. Like those terms did not exist when we were growing up because it was being pioneered. And so we were of the age of watching YouTube and watching other girls around our age or slightly older experience life for the first time. But at the same time, there was nothing else to compare it to. To this day, I still feel like I'm striving to be Bethany Moda at 16 with her morning routines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though I'm fully aware that that was never real and people don't live like that.
I think I'm gonna be a different opinion here, but like, well, I can't say all of it, but most of the time, I just wanted to be better at makeup. Like, they were all so good.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I can't do that for shit. So I've been doing the same makeup with just like different shades, different products since middle school. You know what I mean? And it works. So I'm not gonna do anything else.
Like, I hate to say it, but like Sonny was looking at old pictures of me the other day and he pulled up one with like just peak 2016 makeup and I was just like, I kind of slay though. What if we went back? What if we went back? Y'all, the winged
eyeliner.
No, I had the fucking white eyeliner in the inner corner everywhere religiously
because it brightens your eyes.
Yeah, because it makes
but it was the brows. It was the Anastasia dip brow, like just perfection. Can we go back? Exactly. Not that I don't love like the makeup I currently do. It's very like clean girl aesthetic, but sometimes it would be fun to just pop on a red lip and some bold eyeliner. Who's gonna stop me?
Yeah. Who's gonna stop me?
I'm gonna stop myself because I'm insecure. As girls, we grow up to be hyper vigilant and hyper aware of our bodies at every moment in time. That being said, when was the first time you felt insecure?
So I think growing up for me, all of the beauty influencers and all of those trends, that was just feedback for a growing child mind. Being like, I'm going to have to one day be like I'm not going to have my family. I'm going to have to figure it out by myself in this society and in this culture. These were lessons, instead of just junk. It's not junk. It's feedback. So I got that feedback and it became like a super personal thing of like, okay, that's what they like. I'm gonna do my best to present that, even if it meant like changing my body or changing the way that like I put on makeup to highlight certain things or hide other things. But what about you guys?
Honestly, one of the biggest things that fueled a lot of my anxieties and a lot of my insecurities as a kid was how sexualized uh little girls become so quickly. I think I had like
Mm-hmm.
a major transition around, the age of 9, 10, where all of a sudden I was getting this attention that I didn't want. Your body isn't your own. Like, if you hear it enough times, it feels like, okay, well, so my body is here to be attractive to the rest of the world. Like, it doesn't really matter what I feel like. Sometimes what I've noticed about myself is that I get complete like director brain. Like, I can see myself from above and I'll be directing myself. I'll be like, "Oh, your posture's not right." And like, you look up. You don't want to be looking at the sidewalk because you look more confident when you're looking up. And like, "Oh, well, walk in this way or move this way," or and it's like I'm trying to put on a performance to be something visually pleasing as people are walking by, which is like so not the point of my existence.
That's so funny to put it that way. I've never connected the dots that that's what I do because I do the same thing where, I'll be walking down the street and I'm like, oh, don't look down, look up, make sure your posture's good, take longer strides, so I fully
Yeah.
get the
I
director
think that's in a
brain
lot of ways
part.
because of the fact that we're so in tune with it so early that like there are things that we are supposed to be other than just like what we are. But I think that that kind of transcends like, it's not just for the girlies. Everybody is kind of held to a standard in one way or another. And in the same way that Nina was saying, it's like the fear of failure at that point is so great that you can't necessarily like turn it off sometimes. But I think like one of the things that really helped me as a kid was I saw a lot of beauty in the older women in my life and in completely like different ways. My mom is beautiful and my stepmom is beautiful and my cousins are beautiful. Again, on like both sides, on all sides. Well, if they can be beautiful even though they're not meeting XYZ standard, like maybe I can do that too. Eh, it doesn't always work, but you can
And
try.
that's the important part, you know? You can't control your feelings, even though it's part of your brain. Your feelings are signals your brain sends so that you can react to them. What you can control is your behavior around your feelings. Even though I feel that way, I'll still like wear the skinny jeans and I'll still put on like boss ass music in my headphones and
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta.
strut my way down New York City.
You gotta.
Because you gotta, right? Like, it's like, okay, if I'm feeling shitty, okay, I can sit in it or I can just wear it on my sleeve. But I think sometimes it kind of leads to this overcorrection for me. This was more of a recent development. I was told a couple times by a couple of people that I am like either some variation of too
Mm-hmm.
much, too
Yes.
loud, or like intimidating because I can hold myself. And so it kind of that's a really weird thing to say because you break it down someone is telling you that you are wrong for being confident, that somehow your confidence imposes on their sense of comfort. And again, you go into that brain that's like, well, we can't be rejected, right? That's no bueno. Okay. So I almost like play myself down a lot more. So like if someone gives me a compliment, I can't take it. Like you could like I'll be like thank you in the most uncomfortable way. Because I'm like, no, I actually hate that part of my body. And maybe sometimes that's true, but there are also days where those insecurities can fluctuate and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not, I actually like that today. But I'll say that I hate it to make you feel better.
Yeah, because I don't want you to know that I perceive myself and I know what parts of me are pretty and what are not.
Right.
Because then
Now you're
that sounds
vain.
narcissistic.
It's self-centered and narcissistic and vain to know what you like about yourself and acknowledge the fact there are things that you
Because
like.
as women, we are supposed to be attractive and look pretty, but not acknowledge that we are pretty and attractive. Well, also not acknowledge the effort that goes into being pretty and attractive.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. I was talking about this with an arc that I got. I wrote a little blog about it where it's basically like this the price of being a woman is to be pretty. Like you're there to exist as an object for people to gawk at. You are a piece of art. Like and art is great and all, but art itself doesn't have much autonomy about where it's hung, right? And I am a human being, not a canvas. So I think I should have some autonomy about how I can be interacted with in a space. But because I am a woman, my job is to be pretty because I owe the world my aesthetic. Everything else is secondary.
And it's almost like you're shunned in a way for not being insecure. It's like you turn around and you're like, well, actually, I don't like, I agree. I think I have blah, blah, blah. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I didn't ask you to compliment something about my body or appearance, so you should not be offended when I agree with your compliment. Because obviously you noticed it, so what makes you think that I didn't? But if I acknowledge that, or I make you aware that I'm aware that I have, excellent tits and great eyebrows, suddenly I'm vain, mean, and narcissistic, even though I know I have excellent tits and great eyebrows.
And you need to own that.
I know what's good about my body, okay?
Right.
And I shouldn't be afraid to say it. That being said, taking from what Lexi was saying about getting unwanted attention, I kind of had the same idea or the same experience in a little bit of the opposite direction. And so I went through puberty at a very young age. I developed very quickly and had all of the bells and whistles at 48 pounds. So as middle school approached, that got more developed essentially. And I grew up in kind of a modest kind of culture. And even though I would, because I had these developments, what I put on versus what my, peer would put on, same shirt, very different looks. And so I would often get criticized for trying to show off my body or, being not modest enough because my chest was no longer flat. I could no longer wear a V-neck t-shirt and it just be a V-neck t-shirt, And so growing up, I just remember kind of not feeling insecure because I was proud of the assets that I was given because I was blessed by my mother. And my mother, once I started to develop like that, made it very clear that I should not be ashamed of how my body turned out or what God has blessed my body with, because that's beautiful. Those are traits. And if people say otherwise, that's on them. That was one thing that made me hyper aware of my body. Because it would often be comments by other girls, not men, but girls being like, oh, you think you're the stuff because you got cleavage now, or, like you think you're all that and you're going to get the boys' attention because you look like this. When in reality, I was just like, I just kind of look like this
Yeah.
now. I don't know what to tell you.
Really, I think what it boils down to in a like outside of yourself sense, there's a standard, there's
Yeah.
a thing that you're supposed to obtain that you don't have. It's always the thing that you don't
The
have.
grass is always greener on the other
Yeah.
side, because you
Mm-hmm.
can only see how it is on your side.
Yeah.
You have the most information about that. You have the most like pros and cons about that than anybody else does. Likewise, if it's not your perspective, you're not going to have as much
Yeah.
information as the person who does. So you're always like, oh, but it's better to look like that. It's like, it's really not. Because when you compare the list, if you ask, like, Natalie, I'm sure if we compared lists about our
Yeah.
chests, we're going to have the same amount of pros and cons. It's just different pros and cons.
That's very true. And that brings me to, we're adults now. How has the word insecurity and B, insecurities as a whole changed from when you were younger to now? Are your insecurities as an adult more physical still, or are they more mental?
No, I definitely think that like mental insecurities are so much worse. Like when you think of your like personality and you're like, "Oh God,
Oh,
I
yeah.
hate this part." Like, "Oh no, I'm gonna out myself." But when the trend came around of the like pick me girl, I was like, that's fucking me. I do that. I do that shit. I like,
Uh,
do I know why?
mhm.
No. But it's only when I'm like uncomfortable or like I like don't know what to say or like I'm meeting new people. I'm very like deferential to new people. But every
Mhm.
time I see one of those memes, I like cringe because I'm like, oh Jesus. Someone has this image of me. That's I think where like my insecurity comes from is I'm like, some people
Oh,
are
yeah.
left with
Oh,
just such an
yeah.
ugly version of me.
Uh-huh.
Like
Yes. Yes,
this
yes, yes.
really stuck
Oh,
out to me,
no.
honestly, as a turning point, I guess, in my own like mental scape. I was talking with like some previous friends, and one of them was like, "Oh my God, like I love the shape of your body." And I was like, "Oh, well, thank you, but I
Mhm.
just want you to know that like I've had the stomach flu for the last couple of days, so like I'm usually
Mhm.
heavier than this." And it was my first reaction to be like, "Oh, you're complimenting me
Mm-hmm.
because I look skinny right now. Is that what this is?" And that was not it at all. And I still feel bad that I had that like immediate gut jerk reaction. Uh this is what I was told. And I think like we grew up too in the golden age
Yeah.
of like Weight Watchers, all of that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Zumba.
Yeah. You know what like really changed my perception on body image as a whole is I was watching this one video and it was of a mom just talking about, things that she learned from her daughter, who was only like 4 at the time. But basically, she realized that her daughter or child views her as the most beautiful person on earth, just naturally, because that's your mom. You're going to view yourself as like that offspring is going to view you like you're the most beautiful person on earth and then learn and take after you. So why would you talk about yourself in a negative way when you are the pinnacle of beauty to someone else? Because you're teaching your daughter, oh, when mommy looks in the mirror and she says her thighs are too fat, and that means when I get to her age, my thighs should not be as fat. And that like really kind of, I know it's like silly, but that kind of blew my mind. Like that's true. As a kid growing up, still to this day, my mom is one of the prettiest people I know. Like just straight up one of the prettiest people I know. And growing up, like one of my favorite things to do was just to go shopping
Mhm.
with her and be in the dressing room and watch her try on outfits because I was like, she's so cool. She's so pretty. But the dialogue that was had in that dressing room was not pretty. It was not positive. It was oh, I can't wear this color and I can't show my legs and I can't do my arms and, my chest is too big. And when you get to my age, make sure that you don't look like this. When in my little head, all I'm thinking is, all I want to do is look like that.
Oh my God, yeah. No, I remember Christmases and dinner table conversations and family reunions where I would just wander away from the kids' table to see what the adults were doing, particularly the adult women, because I was going to be there one day. And hearing the whole conversation of, you've gained weight, you've lost weight, I should lose weight, I am too big, I am too small, I wish I was like this, I wish I was like that, holidays, family gatherings, reasons for celebrations, and this is still what we are focusing on. And then they'd look at me, it's like, oh, but you're so tiny, you'll be fine, you look great, because you're so small and you have the best figure, and like but watch your weight, because when you become older, you might, like, you might gain more weight and then you'll look like us, and you don't want to do that. And it's like, but you're my family, and here you are bullying each other and bullying yourselves. Why don't I want to look like you? I'm supposed to look up to you.
It
you
is
know
contradictory. It's it's like, again, like with my double chin, I saw it as a problem because my mom saw it as a problem and my grandmother saw it as a problem. And there was nothing I could do
hmm
but then see it as a problem. I remember very clearly we were going to like a party, like a Christmas party or something
yeah,
for at one of my friends'
yeah.
houses. And my mom and her mom were also friends, so we were all going. And my mom like couldn't figure
hmm
out what she wanted to wear. Like everything she put on, she was like, I look too ugly, like I can't wear this, I
right.
can't wear this, I can't wear this. She just talked herself out of going completely. Like we wound up skipping the party because she was like, I can't find anything to wear and I'm going to show up and be like the ugliest person there and I don't
Yeah,
want to do it. I don't know. I remember just feeling so upset that somebody that I cared about so much, and again, that I saw as so beautiful, was like feeling so bad about themselves they don't even want to leave the house.
hmm
Like, I don't know, that just stuck with me. And to this day, I feel like on the days that I feel the
hmm
cruddiest, are the days that I dress up the most. I think because of that, because of the like, okay, well, I have to force myself to do it. Like I'll feel better, like, when I figure out my outfit, and it will be okay. I will figure out an
yeah,
outfit.
yeah.
Especially, this is so random, but I've been growing more comfortable with wearing looser clothes. I feel like I was never comfortable with doing the like loose on loose combo.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I always have to do like a tight and then a loose, or a loose and a
exactly.
tight, and like a, yeah.
Exactly. But I've been pulling out the loose on loose sometimes when I'm just not feeling like being perceived, and it's kind of nice. It shut off that part of my brain where I'm like, "Oh, I have to look some sort of way." I look like a blob. That's all you're getting.
Yeah, because you're showing me, you're
Yeah.
alive, you're living your life in a way that I want to emulate, and you look like that. So I should look like that. And if you're telling me that I shouldn't, that's contradicting information, like I remember my mom as one of the she had the most beautiful face card. Like that shit was Amex, that was Amex black card of a face card. Like damn. She was a model, and then she gave it up as she grew up. And I was like, Ma,
Yeah.
I see why. Like,
I too would
girl,
be a
if I had
model.
your face, I too would be a successful commercial model for skincare, like, and so, I remember seeing her like that, and then, that was when she was younger. She had then gained weight, and she had like pictures of herself when she was younger, and she's like, I wish I was still like that, and I'm like, but it doesn't matter because you have the same fucking face. You're still just as gorgeous as you were. um and she was always talking about her weight and her body. because having kids changes your body.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, part of it was like, well, are you saying like you wish you didn't have kids? Because then you'd still have that body. You know, if you didn't have me, if you didn't have my brother, that you'd still have that, you'd still look like that. Is that better? By the time she got back to the body she wanted, and even smaller, it was because she had cancer. She was so tired and she was so miserable. And she then wanted nothing more than to go back to the body that she had, that she swore she hated when she wanted the one before that, when she wanted the one before that one, I'm sure, you know? And it's like, no matter what you do, you are going to be comparing yourself to something or someone, whether that's what you looked like before or what you look like now or what you want to look like.
And you know, that actually brings me to another conversation around insecurities, is insecurity around like fashion trends, you know? Like for me, I look damn good in bootcut jeans. Okay? That is not the fashion right now. It hasn't been the fashion for a really long time. And I remember being, I want to say like 10, and we were shopping at Justice, and on the sale rack, I found these really, really cute bootcut jeans. And this was the era of the skinnier the jean, the better. Like if you can barely fit your foot through that hole, you're wearing the right pants. Um, and I looked cute. I looked so good
Yeah.
in them. And my mom was like, "Oh, you look adorable. We definitely need to get those." And I remember telling my mom, "No, we can't get these. Like, I can't get these jeans," because I knew
Mm-hmm.
that, like, that wasn't the fashion. That wasn't the trend. I was going to be made fun of if I got these jeans, you know? And my mom bought the jeans for me anyway, but I never wore them because I was too insecure to wear something that wasn't the fashion, you know? Um, and like I feel like I'm kind of having the same realization now, is I do have one pair of bootcut jeans and I look damn good in those bootcut jeans. And they are low waisted. They are not high waisted jeans. And I'm, you know, slowly realizing that, oh, as much as I do like a good high waisted jean, they're not the most flattering thing on my body because
Yes.
I have a really freaking short torso and incredibly long legs for someone who is 5'1". You know, kind of like rewiring my brain to think that, like,
Yeah.
oh, just because it's in fashion, just because it's in trend, doesn't mean
Yeah.
that you need to do it or follow it or eventually change the way you dress or the way you're viewing yourself. And you know, trends come and go, and it's okay to pick some up and leave some that you don't like. Uh, and like, I'm like, I kind of want to buy another pair of skinny jeans. Like, I kind of want to own a pair of skinny jeans.
Yeah.
As you
Right?
should.
Yeah.
Do
That's
it.
the thing, is like
Go.
no one is
Do
gonna
it.
say anything. You can wear your bootcut jeans
Yeah.
and look damn good in them. And all anyone's gonna say is, damn, she looks good in them. Like,
That's true.
I love
very
that.
true.
I
Yeah.
have not ever gotten an unsolicited insult from a stranger. I have gotten, you're right,
Yeah.
I've gotten unsolicited
Yeah.
attention. I've gotten um I've gotten unsolicited insults from family and friends, you know, like who
Yeah.
don't, friends who don't mean it, family who maybe kind of do. But I have never gotten an unsolicited insult from a stranger. The most I've gotten is ignorance. They just ignore you. Because why would they spend time in their day when they're probably thinking about how they look?
True. Well, I agree with that
And
now
yeah.
as adults. When we
Mhm.
were kids, that's not always the case. Kids are bold.
Oh
Kids
yeah,
are
no, yeah,
bold.
kids are fucking
Okay?
bullies.
Like they
Yeah.
have no hesitation calling you a buck-toothed beaver who needs to go back to the sticks. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they have no hesitation looking at you and calling you a stubby
Who called you that?
a stubby-legged raccoon.
That's
You know
so
what I mean?
specific.
Like,
Yeah, that's personal.
That was from the chest.
Like they have no hesitation coming out with like the world's wildest insults. And so like you
Yeah.
learn that some people are going to comment on your appearance, whether it's positive or negative, and we do bring that
That's
into our
true.
adult life. Yes, those are things you start to unlearn when you get a little older.
Yeah.
But you know, that is essentially where insecurities do stem from. you know?
That is true, yeah.
Like, there's always the saying of sticks and stones break my bones, but words will never hurt
Yeah.
me. But that's not true.
Now words hurt.
That is so
Words
not
fucking
true.
hurt.
Like, your bones,
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, words super
that'll
hurt.
heal. The cuts on your skin, that'll heal.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
words and things that are said
Oh,
that affect your psyche,
all of the rejection, that's just feedback for your brain to be like, I have to change this in order to adapt to my circumstances and not be rejected. That is hardwired into your brain. It is the way that the human brain is made. So to unwire that is such hard work. And it's one thing for someone to just like slap you.
Yeah.
It's another thing for it to be like repeated over and over and over again. Someone is saying something about you is undesirable and unacceptable to the point where it has to be said.
and changed if applicable.
Applicable.
Yes. Being changed if possible. We are now entering into a world where cosmetic procedures are way more available and way more affordable than they were.
Yeah, than they were.
And I know I've seen some influencers who are our age or younger start getting Botox and getting rid of like the little wrinkles you start to develop, and
preventative Botox.
And veneers and straightening your teeth. Has that affected the way you view yourself at all?
Well, like I said, my mom did tell me that I should get a nose job, so yeah. My mom was like, you should get a nose job if you want to be successful. And I was like, thank you. But yeah, no, she even taught me, like, she was like, if you're gonna straighten your teeth, you should do that while you're getting a nose job. Remain hidden while the braces are there and that your nose is healing. And after a year, you come out and people just think you're really fucking glowed up.
For a year?
That is the most unhinged advice I have ever heard.
Yeah.
And then before the glow up existed, she was telling me how to glow up.
Like I'm a troll? You're gonna...
And then have some coming out party? Like a big reveal? Like, what?
I was like, now I laugh at it, but then it really did sting. I'm like, well, you think I should be hidden? For a year? Like a little Anne Hathaway. Only Pablo can take this and turn it into a princess.
I think it was Paolo.
Paolo.
Oh, Paolo. Yeah.
I saw him in something else, and I was like, that's Paolo.
I saw him in something else recently too, and I went, that's Paolo.
But yeah, so like it was that, in terms of cosmetic procedures, if you want to go do it, if it'll make you feel better, knock yourself out. I am not one to tell you what to do, right? Like, hell, I've thought about it. I think I made a joke before that one of the first things I do is get bigger boobs, I don't know. I'm kind of like, I just think of my mom, where she was like,
yeah,
I wish I had the body I had back then. And I know in the future, I'm probably going to be thinking the same shit, where it's like, I wish I had the body I had back then. So I kind of just have to live in the moment and a little bit in the future, just enough to be aware, but not enough to overthink. Where it's like, I'm always going to be wishing I could go back. So why don't I enjoy what I have right now? And if you feel like you need plastic surgery to do that, as long as you are doing it for you and not somebody else, knock yourself out. Do not get yourself big boobs for more guys. Don't do it. The guys ain't worth it. Babe, they're anchovies out there. All right? You a shark. Don't go for the anchovies.
Like, I see so many girls our age now getting preventative Botox and things like that. And, it makes me wonder, like, should I be doing that? Like, one of my biggest insecurities is my smile lines. I have smile lines so bad. Because I smile all the time and I laugh with like everything in me and like full muscle range that my face can conquer. Um, and I'm like, oh, well, if I got Botox, then you wouldn't see them very much because they look like wrinkles when I have makeup on. Because I mean, I guess they essentially are. But then I was like, but why would I do that? Because when I get older, people are going to know immediately that I had a happy life. They're going to look at my face and know that, like, oh, that person knows how to have fun.
Smiled a lot.
And,
Yeah.
like, she laughs a lot. Um, and I think there's something beautiful in having these reminders on your face of the life that you're living.
Yeah, it was one of the things I keep referencing, just like the thing that I wrote. It was one of the things that I wrote where it was like, eventually I'll look in the mirror and see reminders of the life I've lived, of every smile, of every laugh, of every time I've cried. And that's just such a beautiful thing in its own right, where it's like, I don't want to deny future me that privilege of being able to remember through the lines on her face how often we smiled because we lived our life.
No matter what the standard is, if you're doing it to yourself and it's not natural, what are the ramifications of that going to be on your body? Because there are lasting effects to, all sorts of things. You are affecting what you may be able to do in the future in the same way that you're affecting, being able to see your past. You're also affecting how you're going to be viewed or how you view yourself in the future. It took me until, and I'm going to go back to the my double chin because that's what we're going to use. My entire life, I was like, if I were to ever get plastic surgery, it would be to get rid of it. You know what I mean? Like, that would be the plastic surgery like I would do 100%. Like I would give myself a little stronger jawline or whatever. I remember on like one of my first dates with my now partner, I was like laying down and I was like, oh no. I said like out loud, I was like, oh no, I can't lay down because then you'll see me with my double chin. And he was like, yeah, so just so casually that I was like,
Yeah.
okay, well that healed something real quick. Like, okay, you're right. So, yeah, that's my face. Like,
yeah,
that's what it looks like. Okay.
It's gonna move.
You're gonna see my face. Like,
if you're gonna be with somebody, like they're gonna see your face.
Yeah.
Ideally, they should. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ideally, I don't know what kind of catfishing situation you got going on, listener, but like, ideally, your partner should see your face.
Yeah, that would be the end goal, at least.
Mm-hmm.
The end goal.
Yeah, that's a happily ever after. The little princess.
The end. No, but like, what about you guys? Like, how do you feel like you've overcome some of your insecurities in adulthood?
I feel like I don't overcome them because again, like, I can't control the way I feel. I can only control what I do. Right? There are days where I wake up and I feel my thighs and I feel, like I should talk a little bit higher today, and I feel like I should not smile with my teeth. And I feel like I should, maybe I just don't talk, but that doesn't mean I do. I don't fold to them. I don't yield to those feelings. I can be extremely disobedient in terms of listening to the feelings that I think do not support me and my growth. My growth does not rely on my weight. My growth does not rely on my smile. I can't change that without really, really, really training myself. That's not important to me. What's important to me is my friends, making sure they feel supported. What's important to me is making sure that I am moving forward with my life in whatever way that means, whether that means my career or meeting new people and making new friends and expanding my network. You know, that is what I want to spend my energy on rather than shrinking myself and hiding myself and focusing so much on myself that I'm losing the fact that I am living an outside life. So like I collect insecurities like infinity stones, but that doesn't mean I gotta snap and use them, you know? Like
For me, like so when I was in high school, I had very bad, horrendous acne all over my face. Like not just like, oh, little pimples here or there, like very bad, like boil sized pimples. It was bad. However, I never once thought about it. I didn't wear makeup to cover it up. I didn't
Mhm.
think it made me look gross or ugly. I just like was fine with my appearance, like that's just not something I gave a second thought. Um, and then as I got older, I would look back at pictures and be like, "Oh my God, I went out in public like that. Like I didn't cover up my acne. I didn't wear a little bit of makeup. Like I thought I looked fine like that." And then it hits me like, "Oh, I thought I looked fine like that." Because you know what I did? There was nothing to be ashamed of like how my skin was reacting to puberty. It is what it is. It wasn't something I could control. Um, and I would look back and be like, "Oh, okay, so if she can be confident with
That's
cystic
okay.
acne beyond like the wazoo,
No.
I think I can be okay if I don't shave my armpits for 2 weeks." Like I think it's okay. Um,
Mhm.
or like I think it's okay if, I'm no longer a 00 and I can't fit into my wedding dress. I think that's okay because it shows that I'm living a healthier life.
Mm-mm. I always joke that I think all of us, even though Lexi, you are the tall Alexa, you are the tallest of us. um, even though, we're all relatively small physically, but we have the biggest personalities I've
Mm-hmm.
ever fucking
And let
seen.
me tell you,
We are picking fights left and right. There's always one person on deck to make sure no one's committing any crimes, and that is it. That's the line. Is making sure if you're gonna.
when we were missing Lexi for a week,
Oh,
ooh, were we getting into trouble?
it was hard. We had the way that we didn't talk each other down. We just kept talking each other up to the point of just fatigue. But do we want to go that far? It's a little tiring to go that far.
And then just like one person being like, "We can't." Alexa would be
Lexi would be
disappointed.
mad.
She wouldn't like it.
She'd be mad at
Think of
us.
her in
We can't
spirit.
do it.
In the mother, daughter, and the Alexa spirit,
Yeah.
we pray.
But yeah, so like I look back at things that I think I should have been insecure about and then I wasn't. And now I'm insecure about like the littlest things and I'm like, if I could have the confidence back then, I am 10 times hotter now than I was at 16, so why am I fretting? You know?
Mhm.
Um and that being said, let's go around and say the things we do like about ourselves, personality and physically. Nina, you have to have some things. Alexa can go first. What do you think?
You know, okay, I didn't for a really long time, I will admit, but I really like my curls. I am glad that I have curly hair. And I really, really didn't for a long time. And I don't know why that was, but I just feel
Yes.
so like naturally beautiful now when I wear my curls out and I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Uh-huh.
just washed and went and this is what happens. And like that, sorry, to pull us freaking back. That is where I get the most like pick me ever with people that have curls. I'm like, "Oh my
Well,
God, I
I
love
mean,
your curls so much." Like I wish that mine looked like that because like they're just so gorgeous. Like I can't
Wait a second.
even
Is that what we
like
meant by fucking
anytime I
pick
see
me?
someone with beautiful curls, I'm like, "Ugh, is that not?"
Well, because I
Because
think
like,
what people don't like, just to go back on this a little bit, what people don't like about the pick me girl is that it's disingenuous, right? But it,
Yeah, and they tend to put other
right,
women down while
yeah.
doing it.
Whereas you, Alexa, you can act like that, but it's always from a space of being genuine. So it isn't pick me because you were just genuinely sunshine.
oh, thank you.
Sweetness beyond
Yeah.
sweet.
Lies. I have a menace inside me.
Yes, you do. You do. You do. You
Grr.
do.
She
You
does
do.
have a menace. Yeah, she
Absolutely.
does have a menace, y'all.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
really
yeah,
does.
yeah. I heard that you
I
guys
have my
almost got one of my
moments.
exes fired.
Should have
So,
gotten him fired by now. Actually.
yeah. So we all take turns on who has the don't break down the world duty.
Yeah.
All right.
Please don't do that. Can I just say, as like, this is my favorite, was like, we had a neighbor who kept complaining about our dog barking, and I worked from home at that point. So I knew for a dang fact that our dog was not barking at any of the points that he was saying that he was.
Mhm.
And Natalie was like, I'm gonna put bees on his doorstep. I'm gonna sign him up for Scientology. Like
Where were you
I
gonna
was
get the
like,
bees?
Why are you questioning me?
No,
I have a bee
I'm
person.
I'm just thinking about the logistics.
Stuytown at the time did have a bee farm
it had
on
a
top of one of the
bees.
buildings.
I see.
It
All right,
does.
yeah,
It
we could
has
have put bees
bees.
down there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, but it was just so fun. I was like, Natalie, we don't have to do that. Like, it's okay. This guy's just like a jerk.
Was not okay.
It was not okay. Especially
I
because
didn't leave bees. I only left one bag of poop.
and then he avoided us in public. No, Natalie, what about you? Say something nice about yourself right now.
Honestly, kind of similar to Lexi. I didn't always like this about myself, but as I've gotten older, it's become like one of my favorite things is my eyes. I think I've got such cute brown cow eyes. Like, I know that's like a silly way to put it, but like I do. I just have like big brown cow eyes. And, growing up, my father has like one of the prettiest, coolest blue eyes on the planet. I do not. I have brown eyes, and they are brown to the core, you know? Whereas my brother got blessed with hazel eyes. And so I was like, man, why couldn't I be like a blue-eyed brunette? Like, do you know the power that would have given me? Do you know the
Power.
power? Exactly.
The power. Well, that's why you weren't,
Yeah.
Natalie, because instead of almost getting people fired, you would just.
Why are we adding this almost to the equation? You think I'm done
We're
with the
just being
job?
strategic, Nina.
I don't leave things unfinished.
No. The Rebecca Yarros blog post you were supposed to write, that doc file is still in our drive unfinished, Natalie. Mhm.
But yeah, I love my eyes. I think they're so cute. I think they're so pretty. And I love my hair. I got blessed with great hair. I can thank my mom for that, which is like half and half because I have curly hair. Very rarely do I wear it curly. Because growing up, I never knew how to do it because I have the curl pattern of someone who didn't know that they had curls until later in life. Yeah, I like wavy hair, but if I take care of it, we've
all
got
of
like
us,
curls,
all of us.
which is, something that I probably should have connected the dots because I had like Shirley Temple level curls when I was a baby. So I'm gonna blame my parents for that one, but I have great hair. It's always looked healthy. It grows really fast. Like I can't complain.
You do. You do.
And those are things I like about my body.
Okay, so here's the thing about insecurities. They are so fluid. And so in the same thread where I can choose what I do and not necessarily what I feel all the time. Sure, I feel insecure, but the things I feel insecure about are also things that I love about myself. Like I do love the fact that my hair is curly, even if it is ridiculously disobedient. It only matches my personality. There was never going to be a part of me that agreed with me, okay? Because I don't agree with anything. So I love that about my hair. And I do love my physique, even if I think I have big thighs, because one of the things that actually helped me with that, right, was, it's gonna sound so silly, Taylor Swift in her Grammys dress this year, the red one. Like, just seeing the way that she has like muscle now because of the Eras tour versus like in her 1989 era, right? And I was like, damn, you know what? She looks so gorgeous. And she has all these muscles. And she's bigger than she used to be because your body changes. And now she's eating healthy and she's doing healthy things and working out.
Mm-hmm.
And I have big muscles too. They might not always be effective because of my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, but they're there. And I like the way that I have the audacity, even if it scares people. I think it should. If you can't handle the audacity, you shouldn't be near me. It's my one line of defense. And, you know, like, all, even to a degree, like sometimes where I'm like, I really love the fact that I am chronically ill because it forces me to slow down and appreciate the days where it's good and measure myself and be compassionate towards myself when otherwise I would not be. And then it extends to like being compassionate to other people when they're like, I am having this pain or so. I'm like, yeah, I know what that feels like. And sometimes they'll take it as, oh, right, I shouldn't be complaining to you because you feel this every day. No, please complain it to me because I feel that every day. You are not going to be more related to than in this moment. Your back hurts? Yeah, I dislocated my spine in my sleep. All right, like, all of these things that I can choose to hate and feel like I hate, I can make the conscious decision to just embrace for the day. So that's kind of what I had to like my mental work in terms of my insecurities, where it's like, if I choose to embrace them, they're not things people can use to reject me because I love me the way that I am. And I love my friends, and I think they're all super hot. Alexa, you have the most tea fucking body I've ever seen on anybody. Like, Jesus Christ, your waist is snatched in a comparison to, like, you have the hourglass figure.
Oh, she's the definition.
She's the definition of Marilyn Monroe would be so jealous of you. Like, there would be
the Kardashians take a photo to their surgeon to look like you.
They do. And I mean that as a photographer too, because I stare at you. I stare at you guys for several hours. All right. If I wanted to find something that, like, you're like, oh, I'm so scared, I would find it, but there's nothing there because y'all are gorgeous. So, Alexa, your body is amazing. Your curls are stunning. I agree with that. And I love the way that you're like, that chin, it is so pretty because when you smile, you can really see it. And it's like, oh, she's happy. I made her happy, or this made her happy. And it's great. And Natalie, I already talked about your arms, you know, but also also just like your entire body is so like proportionate to who you are. And I love that so much. You think your lips are pouty right now because of your lipstick. I think they look stunning.
Thank you.
All right. All the time. Your eyebrows, you already know, is good. I actually like the contrast with your dark hair with like the fair skin tone. I think it brings like a really interesting energy to you. But if you wanted to dye it, you know, I'm not one to talk. So 50 volume developer right here.
Well,
yeah.
Okay. How long do we have? Similar to Nina, we could do 2 hours with a Star Wars length credit roll. Okay. But Nina, Your hair,
Mhm.
freaking gorgeous all the time. I've always been so jealous because like it looks so good all the time. Whether you think it does or does not, it just Carrie Bradshaw is jealous of you. Of you, okay? You are the most photogenic freaking person I've ever met in my entire life. And like it's crazy. It's actually crazy because it's like you and I, according to Apple, look the same, but girl, put me in front of a camera and I look like a freaking cactus, okay? You look like Heidi Klum. And it's impressive and amazing, and you're so talented and passionate and ambitious. Too ambitious at times, but very ambitious.
Yeah.
Oh, and
yeah, you know, my husband would agree, and as would all my exes. They're like, please eat. No.
And you said your nose, but like I said, like your nose made me feel more confident because we have similar noses, and I'm like, she's so pretty. You know, like if she can rock it, I can rock it. And like your entire face is so beautiful. Like if you were to go bald,
Right.
you would still be the pinnacle of beauty because your face is just that pretty. Alexa.
Thank you.
Alexa. Your eyebrows and your eyes, beautiful. Love them. They're so cool. And like she's got all she needs to do is put on some dark mascara and she is literally just throwing all the models out there away because we only need her because she is that pretty. Your cheekbones, I've always been jealous of your cheekbones. Like, girl, I wish I was born with those. I wasn't, and that's okay. Your curls, once again, beautiful, always very jealous. You taught me how to do them when we lived together, and I gave up. But when she did do them, they looked great. Okay, this is gonna sound like really weird, but like your legs, they're so nice because they're like so.
She's got great legs.
They're so proportional.
Mhm.
Like
they're so long. Too.
Like
legs for days.
Days. You know, like in a cartoon, how like they draw like the big booty, like that's what she looks like in real life.
Oh,
the Powerpuff Girls, the one in the red dress, the woman in the red dress with
yes!
like the mayor's wife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's what she looks like in real life. Like it's crazy. Oh, and like
she was the inspo photo.
Yeah, and her like tiny little dimple
Thanks.
she gets when she smiles.
Yeah,
I like it.
Okay, all right. This was my favorite segment of the episode. Nina, I just want to say, like, you're so driven. Like, it's really inspiring. And also, like, you're so driven, but you still make time for the people in your life that matter, which, you know, is very hard to do in your schedule. So, like, it is very admirable that you keep up with your friendships and keep up with your relationships in the way that you do. And you have such a big heart. And you care about everyone you meet. And yeah, and you have pretty eyes. Uh, and
Thank you.
finally, I just appreciate the fact that like nothing is ever a challenge to you. It's always just like a problem to be solved and I'm gonna solve it. And then you do. Like, I appreciate you never let anything stand in your way. You never let anybody tell you that you can't do something because of XYZ.
Until it's crimes,
Yes,
and then we have
unless
to,
it's
like,
crimes.
You don't really have
Yeah.
a choice.
Unless you're like, no, I don't want to go to prison tonight. Thank you.
Maybe another day. Can we reschedule prison?
Can we maybe do that like next Saturday if that's cool?
And then we hope you forget by then. Like
the husbands and the partners don't have their phone
he's got
on,
work
so we
in the
shouldn't go to jail
morning.
tonight,
I don't want
but...
to, you know.
we can't bail him out, you know.
No. And then like yeah, I mean, girl, your wedding, like your we're gonna go back. Your tits look so fantastic. Like I was like, are you freaking kidding me?
They do.
Like,
yeah, they did.
Oh my goodness. Like Sonny knew what he was getting.
I was like, yeah, no fucking wonder he fucking waited. All right, like that. Yeah, of course he did.
What other
Look
response?
at you. What was the other choice? It would get him it would get him institutionalized for insanity. Yes. He would be deemed like he can't.
No. And I do really like your hair. You have like very like thick but still like silky soft hair, which and it's so shiny.
And so shiny.
I'm jealous. And I know that you dyed it back to get it healthy again.
If you want to re-dye it, we could.
It's just like it's hard letting go of the blonde, guys. It's hard letting go of the blonde.
Someone asked me if I was ever gonna dye my hair back, and I'm like, no, probably not. Probably for the rest of my life, like, I will be ginger. The way that God intended.
The printer was a little wrong, you know, but it was supposed to be ginger.
A little wrong.
Listen, he tried his best to get those ginger genes into me, but the day an Irishman or a Scotsman steps into the Philippines is a day they melt. All right, it is too hot for them. There was no way I could be naturally ginger. Exactly. And so hair dye was invented.
You know what? We're going to put you down with dark hair because there's this thing called hair dye and you're going to become really good at it.
Like,
here's another alive hobby for you. Not a dead hobby. Very much
alive.
Oh, okay. As an adult, looking back, what do you think now was like your silliest insecurity? Where you look back and you're like, why was I even insecure about that? Like, no one cares.
We're just dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is an insecurity or not. I have the worst FOMO out of anyone I've ever met. I physically cannot contain myself from being part of. I just want to be part of.
Felt that.
I just want to be there.
Just want to be there.
I get that. I get that in a different way though. Like I get competitively jealous, if that makes sense. So like if this was a thing back when I was single, if there was a guy that I liked and I thought he was flirting with someone else when necessarily he might not have been, you know? Because I don't know what flirting looks like. So if I thought he was flirting with someone else, I'd be like, what is that girl doing? Can I do it better?
I'm learning all of these new phrases that are exactly how I feel. I wasn't smart enough to put it into words. But yes, competitively jealous. I have had obviously one partner my entire life. Did that stop me from comparing myself to other girls and fighting them mentally? No, it did not. Like there was this one coworker he had when he worked at the movies, and she would consistently flirt with him. Consistently. In front of my face. I worked right across from the movie theater. It was in a mall. So I worked at a store across. And she had never met me at the time-ish. Like she knew who I was, but wouldn't acknowledge me. And husband and I, we were dating at the time, went to see a movie. And Sunny was like so embarrassed by this, but I said what I said. We were walking into the movies. I'm holding a bucket of popcorn because I love popcorn. And this girl is the one who is taking our tickets. And she ripped our ticket, put her hand on Sunny's shoulder, and said, "Oh my gosh, you should add butter to the popcorn. It's so good." And I grabbed her little finger, picked it up, and I went, "He doesn't like popcorn, but thanks." And then dropped it. And walked away.
That was iconic of you, though.
It was like, babe, like, was that necessary? You know, like, was that necessary? And then there was another moment where he was at work and I was sitting in the lobby because we were going to go get dinner. And we were married officially at the time, and there was this girl who was once again blatantly flirting with him, and he just had no idea. He worked as a resident helper coordinator person, fancy title, no idea. But he was handing a new resident her set of keys, okay, and she had like this cute little keychain. It was glass cherries or whatever, and she was like, like, I hope you don't mind, but would you please help put this keychain on the key for me? Like, I'm really struggling, and you just look like you know how to do it really well, you know? Yeah, so obviously she didn't know that his wife was sitting,
You just look like
5 feet away from her.
You just look like you know how to do it really well. Even Stash is having a reaction to that.
And I pipe up and I go, "Hey, babe, what do you want for dinner? I'm so excited," you know? And like she looked at me and was like, "Oh," and I looked at her like, "Try again. I dare you." That might just be straight up jealousy, but yeah, I'm very much like, try it. I would love to see you try. I don't let my psycho out enough.
No, I would be like, hey, hubby.
That's something I do like about my personality is I will give it my all. If you are someone I love, I will give it my all. Borderline psychotic, but I will give it my all.
Yep.
Yeah.
I asked husband, because I love asking stupid questions. I said, husband, if I were to randomly leave you a note right now in this moment, okay, saying that I couldn't do this anymore and that, I can't live this life and I disappeared off the place of the planet Earth, what would you do? And he was like, well, I'd be really sad about it, but what can I do? He was like, that would just be really rough. And I was like, okay. And he was like, why? What would you do? And I was like, well, for starters, I'd hunt you down. And if I didn't have the resources to do so, I'd enter the police academy, make my way into the FBI, to then look into files of missing person reports to figure out what happened and where you went, and use all resources expendable to me. And he was like, that's like 10 years of work and a career change. And I was like, and your point being,
you're not gonna fight for me?
What do you mean? I'm not just gonna lay down and accept it. And he's like, what if I'm in WITSEC or something? And I was like, then I will control WITSEC. What do you mean?
I'm gonna be your new
I will
agent.
become the coordinator of WITSEC. What? Use your brain. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And they tell me that they have to be very careful with what they tell me because I will do something about it. I hold myself back because I know they would not prefer the methods that I want to take.
You guys are just so much greater than your insecurities. You know what I mean? The personality that you both, the drive, the charisma that you guys exude, the sheer terror that you bring upon
my
the
wife
world
will kill you
is just it's inspiring.
And her friends will help.
And you can do all of that and it doesn't matter what your hair looks like or your eyes look like or anything, because that comes from within you. The fear. Me.
There's a passage in the Bible that I'm very much paraphrasing, but it says, that says something about having the heart of a lion, and I think me as a child took that way too seriously. I am a lion. Right. I am a lion, and I will be one. Hear me roar. Honestly, I think my silliest insecurity is that I have too many freckles. Not on my face, but on my body. I have so many sunspots and freckles and this huge birthmark. And when I was younger, I was like, I look diseased. I look diseased. But now I think they're cute. I'm like, that's kind of fun. I can just connect the dots on my arms.
Sprinkles.
Yeah. And it's cute. I find it cute. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Comment down below. We really appreciate you guys listening. And we will see you for episode 3. Bye.
Bye. Bye.